A port state control officer comes up the gangway with a clipboard and a lot of authority. He is not your flag state and not your class surveyor. He is the coastal state checking that the ship in front of him matches the certificates she carries. Most inspections end with a few deficiencies and a sailing date unchanged. Some end with a detention, a public record, and a ship going nowhere until the fault is cleared. In the next few minutes, why your ship was picked, how the walkthrough actually runs, how a deficiency becomes a detention, and what preparation genuinely changes. Ships are not boarded at random. Regional agreements run a targeting system that scores every arrival, ship age and type, flag performance, the recognized organization behind the class, the company's record, and the time since the last inspection. A high score means an expanded inspection rather than a routine one. A bad detention history follows both the ship and the company, and it raises that score for years. So the inspection often starts long before the officer arrives in a database. The one factor crew controls is the last one, what the ship looks and sounds like when he walks aboard. The visit follows a shape. Documents first at the ship's office, certificates, surveys, the safety management manual, oil record book, hours of rest, drill records, the last inspection report. Then the walk. He will look at what tells him most in the least time. The accommodation in galley, escape routes and their markings, lifeboat and davit condition, fire dampers and doors, the emergency generator, the steering gear, the engine room bilges and the oily water separator. And he watches people. He may ask an ordinary seaman to don an immersion suit or start the emergency fire pump, because a certificate proves paperwork, while a crew member proves the system. Every finding is written as a deficiency with a code, a description, and an action taken, and the action is what matters to your voyage. It may be rectified before departure, or within 14 days, or at the next port, or under an agreed plan. Those categories are the officer's judgment of how serious the fault is and how much he trusts the ship to fix it. Deficiencies are public. They appeared in the regional database against the ship's name, and a pattern of small ones tells the next inspector exactly where to look. Detention is reserved for conditions that make the ship unsafe to proceed, and the list is predictable. Life-saving appliances that will not launch, firefighting systems out of service, watertight and weathertight closures that will not close, and the systemic ones, steering gear failures, emergency power that will not start, an oily water separator bypassed, or its record book falsified, and an ISM failure serious enough to show the safety management system is not working. The pattern behind all of them is the same. A single broken item is a deficiency. Evidence that nobody was maintaining or recording it becomes a detention. Preparation is not a scramble on the morning of arrival, and officers can tell the difference within minutes. The real work is continuous. Certificates current with their surveys endorsed, record books honest and up-to-date, drills held and logged properly, and defect lists that show faults being found and closed rather than hidden. Then the arrival routine. A walk of your own along his likely route, escape routes clear, closures working, the emergency generator and fire pump tested, and one officer assigned to accompany him with the answers and the files at hand. A ship that is genuinely maintained inspects easily. A ship that is tidied for the visit does not. Examiners test this in 3 layers. The framework, who the port state officer is, where his authority comes from, and how targeting decides an expanded inspection. The procedure, the document set, the walkthrough, deficiency codes, and the action categories with their timescales. And judgment, which findings are deficiencies and which are detainable, and what a master does when a detention is issued. Work practice turns those into calm answers on the day. That practice is what the workbook is for. Port state control inspection preparation covering deficiencies, detainable items, documentation, and a walkthrough with 280 practice questions and work answers. The link is in the description, alongside the rest of the Teller Press Maritime library. Keep the ship inspection ready, and the knock on the gangway stops being a problem.